You know those nasty overdraft fees from your bank? You know, when you get hit with that ridiculous $35 fee? Well, what if I told you that fee could only be $3? It might happen. The Biden administration just proposed a new rule this week that would actually regulate and maybe even reduce those overdraft fees, saving Americans an estimated $3.5 billion every year. Now, as 23 million American households are well aware, you can be hit with an overdraft fee when your bank or credit union has to pay out a withdrawal from your account, even though there's not enough money in that account to cover the transaction. Those fees can be $35 per transaction or as much as like $39. And all of those overdraft fees add up to big business for the banks. The government estimates those banks rake in about $9 billion a year in profits just from those fees. Let that sink in for a second. So what could change with this new rule if it's made final? Well, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's proposal would apply to only the country's largest banks and credit unions, those with more than $10 million in assets. But that still includes about 175 of them across the U.S., and it's likely one that you would use. Now, under the proposed rule, banks could only charge customers what it would cost them to break even on providing overdraft services to you, the customer. This would require banks, though, to show federal regulators the cost of running their overdraft business, a task that probably very few of them want to get involved with. So they could do something else. If they don't want to do that, the banks could also provide small lines of credit to allow customers to overdraft their accounts for a short period of time, sort of like a credit card. And if they don't want to do that, banks could instead use a standard overdraft fee. Regulators propose several options: $3, $6, $7, or $14. Again, these are all just proposals, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will take the next few months to gather industry and public input on the most appropriate amounts. Now, as you can imagine, the banks are not happy with this at all. And of course, they are going to push back on it. But the rulemaking process is moving forward. So this proposed rule is now open for public comment until April 1st. After that, the CFPB will consider those comments and decide if this proposal needs to be amended and whether to issue a final ruling. Now, if this does become final, it would likely not go into effect until October of 2025. And if and when that happens, expect some lawsuits. So if you want to read more about this proposal on overdraft fees, I will email it out to you tonight in my Newsgirl News Roundup email, so make sure you sign yourself up.